Attention, all rebels. Repeat, attention, all rebels. This is Fulcrum speaking. I am coming to you from a place I normally don't come to you because the Empire has hijacked our airwaves. I'm your old buddy, Andrew Fantasia, and this is your other old buddy, James Rasile.
Hey, you also just lied. You do come from here quite often whenever you do Vote of No Confidence with Rob or Josh. We see you on this type of broadcast, so don't lie, Fulcrum.
James, I'm lying because the Empire might be listening. You know, you got to be careful. We're not playing games. This is life or death. So I'm trying to keep myself alive. That's right. You cover that side of your hat. Yeah. Hail Palpatine. All right, guys. Sith can't see people winking.
How do you feel about Palpatine appearing in The Last Jedi?
Is that a new thing that's been rumored?
That Lego toy that we talked about like a month or two ago. It's like if you buy the thing on Amazon, it actually says Snoke with Palpatine or Emperor hologram or something like that. So
I'm so excited that I would take my shirt off if this was a family show.
All right, let's.
So let's basically what happened was we recorded an episode of I Rebel and we lost the footage at the last minute and the audio. So we're just doing
we have the footage. We have the footage.
We have the footage, but no audio. My bad.
There's no audio.
It would have been a very entertaining show. You know, you could have like dubbed over us and you know had fun with that. In fact, maybe one day we'll release it and you can make funny dubs and send them to us. And but in the meantime, we wanted to make sure this gets to you by this weekend. And my girl Harris Sandula is with me, and she agrees. She was like, "Nah, we got to get this done right now."
I true story here in Canada. EB Games. I was just at EB Games, and they had all of those. They had Vader, Stormtrooper, Hera, Thrawn, Luke, Rey, and Kylo.
At EB Games?
No Snoke. Yeah, they had every single one of them. And I was like, there you go.
That's awesome. I just picked up Greed today.
Huh?
I picked up Greed today, Commander Greed.
From where?
From Toys R Us. It's the one in Woodbridge has a lot. But I think it's only Toys R Us exclusive, and it's like $10 more.
Of course. I was going to say pick me up one, but I'm not going to. You're allowed to. We are both allowed to shop in Woodbridge. I'm like half allowed because of the looks, but you're fully. They just let you walk into Woodbridge. Well, I've got to show ID.
Yeah, they'd be like, "Excuse me, sir."
No one watching knows what Woodbridge is. We'll keep it that way.
All right, so let's dive right in. We got 3 episodes of Rebels coming in at the tail end of season 2. Let's get them to you now. And next week it'll be. We'll be talking about the season 2 finale, and then October we're plowing through season 3. It's gonna be so sick.
Also, we're gonna double up starting next week, right? There's gonna be 2 episodes a week.
Yes, and there's gonna be we're gonna cram more episodes of Rebels into each of our episodes as well.
Yeah. So what we're going to do is it's going to be Saturday, like you're seeing today, and also I think we'll do Mondays because Mondays is when Rebels is going to be airing going forward. So we'll do Saturday and Monday for the doubling up. To kind of transition to, we'll probably, when we do the Rebels recaps, hopefully we'll be doing them on Monday or Tuesday that week. It could be a little later. Give us time. We don't get press copies of these shows. But the goal is as soon as we can get them to you, we will put them up to you. So hopefully Monday or Tuesday, but we will do Sunday and Monday for I Rebel starting next week.
And that's a great way, like you said, to segue into when it starts airing. And for all of those of you wondering, the answer is yes. During our Rebels recap shows, I will be fully in costume as Andy Gutierrez. So let's get right down to business here. We got episode 218, Shroud of Darkness. Now, this is the episode that has, we see Kanan, Ezra, and Ahsoka travel back to that old Jedi temple that's on Lothal, and they each go on like a separate little vision quest in this temple to discover answers because they're kind of at a point where they don't know what to do next. Kind of like how the writers might have been feeling on the show. So I'm sure the Filoni took them all on a retreat somewhere where they sat in a sweat lodge and prayed to the Ashla and the Bogan for guidance. And what we got was this episode. Now, my first note I really want to share because it made me laugh. This episode has Ahsoka in it. It has Yoda. It has Vader. It has Anakin, it has the old Inquisitor, and it has the planet Malachor. But the only, like it mentions the planet Malachor rather, and literally the only thing I remembered about it before I rewatched it was that Kanan fights the Inquisitor in a dojo.
Yep.
That's literally the only thing that I retained. So when I watched this again, I was like, oh yeah, this is the dojo episode. And then like so much more happened. And I'm like, oh yeah, this is also a lot of other things. What did you think of that reveal that the Inquisitor was in fact, he used to be a guard at the Jedi Temple?
I thought it was a neat little way to get him in there and kind of get a little bit more of a backstory as to who this guy was, where they could come from, how much power the Empire has, even in seducing these Jedis to come and become Jedi to become Inquisitors for him, to hunt down and kill Jedi going forward. And the Inquisitors aren't Sith yet, but they're right up there. And it was very interesting to me to see. It was cool to see that the Rebels can give you that type of a backstory because, I just talked about it with Brock. We talked about Snoke because I got to bring up Snoke. But the importance of Snoke isn't who he was in the movies. The importance is he's the bad guy. And it's cool that a show like Rebels can be, hey, the Inquisitor's a bad guy. And then 2 seasons later, or 1 season later, I guess, not 2, because go back and be like, this is actually his origin story. And he has a full story. He's not just a bad guy. There's more to him than you thought. You don't need to know it, but we'll give you a little snippet. I thought that was really cool. And, that's something I think more for older fans than younger fans to appreciate, I would say.
Yeah, I agree. And it's like a cool little nod to the fact that a lot of these Jedi at this temple were not as strong-willed as Kanan, as Obi-Wan. And, it probably didn't take much to turn him to the dark side.
Which, can I just cut you off right there? Get your lightsaber. But just to cut you off, side Akbar this one. Like you said, then he's not as strong-willed. And is this what we are going to be learning about the Jedi going down the road? Now, we know this came out right after The Force Awakens, so this was probably written when The Force Awakens was just being wrapped post-production. There was probably around the editing. But the story group at Lucasfilm, Rian Johnson, J.J. Abrams, and all those kids that sit around the table and they're like, this is a cool, my God, yes, that know everything about Star Wars lore. They knew. They might not have figured out Snoke or Rey's parents right away, but they knew the basis of their story. They knew the base for what they were going to tell. And it looks like it could have been this Jedi way of it was wrong and they weren't as strong as everyone thought they were mentally. And maybe this is the first inklings of that we're really, really seeing. And now Luke Skywalker says it's time for the Jedi to end. And people are guessing now that there's more to that sentence than we're hearing. But if that is the full sentence, this could be the first time we see it as fans in the new canon.
Yeah, agreed. Like we're starting to see the cracks in the facade that was the Jedi Order circa Palpatine's rise.
And it came out so long ago, so much before The Last Jedi, that you don't even think of it. It's not even you don't really mentally think, oh, he was really weak-minded, blah, blah. He was just, oh, God, he used to be that, now he's a bad guy. You don't, but now we're getting so much more information that you could start, you're like, oh, man, these pieces are so clever.
I can't wait till episode 9 is out and to see like some kind of interview with Story Group or something to see like how far ahead of time these seeds were planted. And, like what was a last minute decision in episode 9 and what was like something that they've been working on since 2014, I can't wait to hear that story. Now, one thing I want to bring up about Shroud of Darkness, Clone Wars, the cartoon, had a very different animation style. It was sort of based as a 3D homage to the 2D Genndy Tartakovsky show that we got, where it's very Hanna-Barbera-ish. There's a lot of thick, chunky lines. Everybody's like jaws very square. It's very sharp, angular, boxy looking thing. It's stylized, but it worked. It looked cool. And Rebels is a lot more towards the side of realistic. Everything's rounder. It's softer. The human faces are more oval shaped, as our faces are. In this episode, for the first time, we saw Yoda in Rebels. Now,
I'm not allowed to make that face.
You too. In Clone Wars, Yoda's look was pretty cool. He had the whole like elongated head, and it was stylish looking, and it was cool. And then we got this Yoda. This Yoda looks pretty bad. I don't know what it is, but the look of this Yoda is shockingly bad. It's like episode 1 puppet bad. What did you think of it?
I don't want to talk about it. I don't know. We talked about his appearance. I can't remember a few episodes ago when his voice appeared, and we're like, whatever, that's fine. Now you get to see him, and it makes a lot more sense. I found like this time his appearance on the show made a lot of sense, but his appearance, it's like Forces of Destiny, Anakin's haircut. Like, where do they make these decisions? Like, who makes the choice, and who's the one that sits there and goes, yeah, that is spot on right there, sir. I mean, these are. This is up for debate, I suppose, but these are the best animators in the world. The Disney animators, they hire the best they can. They spend money on it, and this is what you come up with is this Yoda that it looks, I don't know, like Family Guy had a better looking Yoda. Like I don't want to talk about him.
This Yoda looks like I used to play The Sims back in the day. I'm not really a PC gamer, but The Sims was like the game I would go to, and back with the first generation of Sims. Probably now, still to this day, but there was a lot of people in the online community who would hack the game and make like hacked Sims of famous like pop culture characters. Like somebody made like a Sim Darth Vader and like a Sim Marty McFly, and they looked like low budget Sims, and it looked off. But I feel like this Yoda looks like if one of those guys from 2000, 2001 would have tried to make a Sim Yoda. This is exactly how it would have looked. It was just, there's something about it that just did not look right.
No, and I'm not going to count. I mean, but so far, you see Lando looks right. You see C-3PO, they look, everyone has looked right. Older Ahsoka, perfect. You're like, yes, perfect. You know what? Yoda is, like you said, Clone Wars, he looked fine. Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith, he looks fine. Now in Phantom Menace, if you go back, he looks fine because they changed that. But I don't know what it is. It was like, there's something, your first pass of Yoda, maybe they'll go back and be like, we reanimated Yoda. And you changed him. It looks bad. There's something about Yoda, though, that you just can't, no one can get right on the first try. It's like, I hope he doesn't appear in the new trilogy because I am afraid of what he's going to look like. You know what I mean?
I know, same. All right, so let's move on to episode 219, which is called The Forgotten Droid. Before I dig into this, there's a little bit of housekeeping I want to do with you guys. As you know, we've been keeping track of all the new planets that we see on Star Wars Rebels. And if you've been following along and singing along, you might think that we are at, I want to say, 10 new planets at this point. But after doing some research this past week, and I've been going on Wikipedia, I'm working on a little project, and my research showed me that I was grossly misinformed about how many planets Rebels has given us. We are not at 10 at this moment. We are actually at 15. And starting with Forgotten Droid, we are now at 16.
I've stopped trusting everything you have to say.
I know. Basically, to make this less complicated, is that I'll just say by the end of season 2, Rebels will have given us 18 new planets. So I'm just going to say that, leave it at that. When season 2 ends, we'll be at 18. And when I start season 3, then we'll start counting them individually again. And this time my counting is right, I promise. So the Forgotten Droid is about, it's the first appearance of AP5. Do you like it?
I love AP5.
Yes.
I'm going to just stop everything I'm going to say right now and just say I absolutely love AP5. And somehow the first time I watched season 2, I missed this episode, and AP5 just kind of showed up when I started watching it.
Yeah.
And it's weird because he's not really part of the group going forward, but he's always, it's like, they're like, we need something, put AP5 in there. And I absolutely love it. I didn't know his name for like a year after I watched it because I completely forgot. Absolutely love it. I love the Snape. I love Alan Rickman. I mean, it's not him, but it is him. Let's be honest here. It's completely, if Alan Rickman could do a droid, this would be it. I absolutely love it. There's this episode we're going to talk about next season that I absolutely love, and I'm going to get in a lot of trouble for that, but we'll wait until that comes up. What do you think of App 5?
I love him. I think he's very funny. Quick side Akbar, speaking of Snape, never tell me the odds. Do you think we will ever see a movie in the Harry Potter verse about a young Snape where he is played by Adam Driver? Because that dude looks like a young Severus Snape, man. Kylo Ren, if you show me a picture of Kylo Ren like 8 years ago and told me that was young Snape, I'd be like, yeah.
Yeah, but he might be getting too old. Oh, no, I guess you have 20 years. Okay, so Harry Potter takes place how long after Voldemort? He's like 9? How old is he? 11? 12? How old is 8? How old is Harry Potter in the first Harry Potter?
11.
Okay, so it's not 8. So, okay. So that would make Snape... make him, yeah, you still have time to do a young Snape, but what would it be about, though?
I don't know. Even if
you
he's
just want to watch
in one scene, even if they just like Tarkin him, put him in one scene. But if it's Adam Driver, I mean, that dude, man, that's Snape. But anyways, AP5, I love him. I love his meeting with Chopper. I thought it was excellent. It made me kind of wish we got that kind of conversation between R2 and 3PO when they first meet in The Phantom Menace, instead of just the whole like, what do you mean naked? The conversation they have is actually really deep. It's really profound. You've got these two very different droids who kind of have to find a middle ground. And there's a beautiful moment where AP5 is asking Chopper about his life, and Chopper says, he was in a crash and he was rescued by an organic person. And AP5 was like, oh, you were rescued. Like, normally, who would treat a droid with such kindness to rescue them? And Chopper just turns on a hologram of Hera. And AP5's like, wow, like that, she must mean a lot to you. And I love the Chopper-Hera relationship. I think it's really cool. And that moment just kind of gave me the feels. It's very sweet. And then we got Ketsu Onyo, who is Sabine's old friend, that bounty hunter who works for Black Sun. She's back. They didn't waste her. She came back for a second appearance.
So Rebels does best.
Rebels does it best. And we got a really cool looking place called Horizon Base as well, which is where Chopper was trying to buy his leg. I like Horizon Base.
Yeah, I like that storyline.
Yeah,
the leg one.
And that's pretty much Forgotten Droid. And then we have episode 220, The Mystery of Chopper Base. What is The Mystery of Chopper Base?
It's a terrible title. That's what it is. It's a terrible title. First time I saw this episode was on iTunes. I got the update, Mr. Chopper Base, and I was like, what? And it's a weird title also. It's a bad title, and it's not... Why is it called Chopper Base?
We never even... I don't think we ever see the moment where they, christen it as Chopper Base. I don't know. Maybe Kanan pulls out a bottle of champagne and hits something, and it's like, ladies and gentlemen, here we are. But no, I think they just kind of called it that for the sake of calling it that. And the episode title, I think, is the first time we see it, revealed.
Yeah. I like the little spider things.
Yeah, the Kryknas.
When I say little, I mean giant spider things.
Giant.
But I will say this: did you find it extremely disgusting when Rex is shooting at the one and it doesn't budge? So he goes up and he puts his head against it and tries to push out the. Who would? Okay, here's the thing: I'm not afraid of spiders. I have no problem, wiping them away, crushing them, flushing them, whatever. I love all living things. But if there was a giant spider at my door, I would not be touching that, and I would not be touching it with my face. Those are two. I could guarantee you those two scenarios would never come to pass. I would jump off my 17th story balcony before I touched that thing on the face.
I agree 100%. I mean, my mom is supremely arachnophobic, so if there's ever a spider in the house, it would always be my responsibility to get rid of it. They don't frighten me. Like, if I see one, I'll just be like, oh, man, I got to deal with this. Yeah. But if a large one was present, not only present, but meaning to do ill will against me, A, touching it would be a no-no with my bare hands, and B, with my bare face, absolutely not.
No.
Rex is just an unhinged mofo. He doesn't care. He's seen everything at this point. I want Rex on my team no matter what. Even if I'm friggin' playing lacrosse, I want Rex on my team because that guy is fearless. He headbutts a giant spider. The thing about the spiders, first of all, they resemble a monster that you fight in Knights of the Old Republic. I can't remember the name, but I think they're on the surface of Kashyyyk when you go down to the bottom, like on the ground floor of Kashyyyk. But the thing about the spiders that kind of baffles me is that you can't reach out and sort of connect with them through the Force the way we've seen other animals react. However, they can still sense you through the Force. Something about the planet Avalon, the creatures on it, be it these spiders, the weird birds you keep seeing, and then in season 3, the character of the Bendu who we meet. Something about this planet and the things that live on it are very off the beaten path. It's got like a very Mortis vibe to it where rules don't apply here. You know what I mean? Like it's not, the Force doesn't work here the way it normally would. Did you start going into this episode, like how off it is?
Totally. And I mean, there's going to be a greater payoff to how off it is in the next season of Rebels, which I think has a anticlimactic ending to it. But yeah, there's definitely something off about it, which I think is intriguing for these characters, especially Ezra, who they are on the fence. They are bordering on making him almost too powerful. So when you create something like this, you can be like, it gives everyone and Ezra a chance to step back and be like, okay, he's not all powerful. There's still aspects of the Force he can't tap into, some creatures he cannot connect with. So it kind of brings him back down to Earth and reality to us, especially, and be like, okay, he's not all powerful. He has, not only has weaknesses, which we're going to see later on, but he can't connect to everything the way we thought he was. And this planet might be a grounding for him, for Kanan, and for everyone else.
That's a good way to look at it. Yeah, it's sort of like the planet. The planet itself has a lot to teach them.
Yeah.
I just hope that if we do get a final answer about what the deal is with Avalon, I hope it's not as confusing as I found Mortis really confusing, man. Still, I've seen those episodes like 3 times each. I still don't understand what Lucasfilm was trying to tell us. So I hope Avalon is a bit more straightforward. I love ambiguity, but there's a point where it's just like, especially when you're dealing with stuff in Star Wars, like the Force stuff that's like a mainstay, like don't be too, like if you're going to show us something out there, like a dark corner, don't be too ambiguous about it. Otherwise, it's like, why show us at all? Like if they got something important to say, make sure at the end of the day we get the hint. But that is Mystery Chopper Base, and that is I Rebel for this week. And next week, we're going to be back at your regularly scheduled location where we're in the same room and the Empire isn't trying to kill us.
Yeah, hopefully I don't delete it by accident.
Yeah. And then season 3 begins, and she's in it.
Oh, she might die.
Oh, don't say that. That's not nice. So don't forget to rebel. Until then, fight the power, all that good stuff. And we'll see you next time here in Rebel Base headquarters on a planet that I'm not going to tell you the name of, because if you're in the Empire, I'm just shooting myself in the foot. See you next time, scumbags.
Bye.
Hey, scumbags. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up on our video. As always, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Rebel Scum Podcast, for all the latest videos.